So I happened to come upon this on the HIllman Reddit page where a philologist goes after HIllman. And I just think it's so funny how these guys just cannot take or handle the meaning of Christos. And I'll show you what I mean. So I am illiterate, and so are you when it comes to Greek. Remember growing up, it's all Greek to me, right? So that's the problem. If you don't know something, you can get really weird and uncomfortable, which is why you need a foundation. And the foundation should be logic and reason, not beliefs. So here we go. This is where he delivers the blowhard moment. And he's going to suffer a little bit as a consequence. As you'll see, he did it himself, right? So look at how this guy asks HIllman, can you please parse out the word alalate, alalazo? What is this lexical form? I don't know. And he asks HIllman, what would be the third person singular perfect medio passive of it? And what's its meter? What the hell does that have to do with HIllman's big issue of this whole Christing thing? Nothing. This is just more blah. But he gets into the Christing, and he's particularly bothered by the ass Christings. So he's going to have a preparation H moment in a few seconds here, this dude. So here's the blowhard, and here you can see the word Christos comes from Krio. So if you click on Christan, where in the LSJ's the lexicon, right, the Greek English lexicon in pharmakon. The only place you see Christan is in the pharmakon. So you click on Christan, what do you get? You get Christos, verb, adjective of Krio. What do we see here? Pharmaka, Christa. Now this means pharmaceutical salve. Now the big issue here is that when you say a person's anointed and then you see, oh gee, and then people like lose their minds. But this is the important thing to know before moving on any further. From 1500 BC to about 1500 AD, when the Coverdale Bible came out, the word Christ was a medicated salve. Then the Coverdale Bible came out, and the word chrisma or krima was spiritualized to mean anointed one, somehow some spiritual thing. And the word anoint or ointment didn't even exist until 1300 AD. So whenever you use the word Christos, in the context of the Bible, the word anoint should never be used because the word anoint didn't exist. Ointment didn't exist until 1300 AD. Whenever you see Christos, you think salve. And the salves came in dry blocks of ingredients that you add water to get various consistencies. You could even do one, it could be made where it's put into liquid and you can drink it. So it would be an edible one. So here we have the different types of Christings. There are Christings in the pharmakon. This is the philologist domain that he doesn't know apparently. So in the pharmakon, you can have a sex Christing. Let me get my thing back here. Sorry about that. What is this? A sex Christing. Now the sex Christing is not in the Bible. I don't know if it is or not. The sex Christing is in Hippolytus, where Phaedra asks the nurse, is this drug a Christ or a potable? A Christon or a poton? So Christon to Christ. Christ means salve. Poton, potable, drinkable. That's the language of the time that Jesus was around. None of this ointment bullshit. Unguent, yes, but unguent is Latin, and we have I guess the Vulgate Bible, but I've never looked at that. Isn't that the Latin one? I don't even know. I don't even care. So medical Christings, that would be John 9. Jesus spits on the ground, puts in the guy's eyes, and his eyes are epicrisend, and he sees again. So medical Christing. Anything that's medical, like Bengay is a medicated salve. It's a Christ. Isn't that incredible? They spiritualize it, and you find out it's just preparation H is a Christ. That's the truth. So this guy is going to get preparation H'd in this video. Now, we can go into Strabo and into, I think it's geography. It's geography, yeah. And this is where we find out that Cleopatra suicides herself with an ospidos and or a pharmakon Christon. She kills herself with a Christ. And then off we go into Revelation, where Jesus tells the Laodiceans, that I know what losers you are. You better Christ your eyes so that you can see. So that's the Christings that I'm aware of. There may be more, but this is what I'm aware of. And isn't it funny? There's actually more than this philologist who's going to be preparation aged in a second. So you just go into Google. Is preparation H a medicated salve? Yes. We already know that in advance, but I want to show you a medicated salve because that is what a Christ is. A Christ is a medicated salve. Boom. Are you ready to get your ass Christed by Bengay? Boom. Boom. Here comes your ass Christing. Boom. Christ your ass with Bengay. I love Greek, bitches. Seaman loves Greek. Okay, so in Revelation 3:18, Jesus says, I counsel you to buy from me collodion and Christos ophthalmousu eine blepes. So in Jesus' time, the medical salve known as a collodion, well, a medical salve is a pharmakon Christa. That's what was Christed in Revelation 3:18. Now, Revelation 3:18 is like, I know your deeds. I know your deeds. You are low and naked and vile, but you need to Christ your eyes so that you can see. Well, see what? See your deeds. See your deeds. This is where Jesus comes in like a shaman. I know your deeds. You are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked, and Christos ophthalmousu eine blepes, is what he says. That sounded like decent Greek Klingon, right? So, do ayahuasca, and I spelled it wrong, right? I left it because, who cares? Ayahuasca spelled wrong. Do ayahuasca trips show us behavior to change, like being pitiful, lazy pieces of shit and wretched, and blind, and lying sophists? Gnostic. Yes! Ayahuasca experiences via shamans can show participants' behavior to change through intense introspection and new perspectives they provide. You can read the rest of it. So, increase ophthalmous, so you can see what you have been doing so you can change. And get into Uranus, right? Isn't that what he's telling people to do? So there we go. Isn't that cool? That's about Christings. So we're going to get back to our philology guy. Here is one of the ones I came across. Christing the anus. He brought anal Christing upon himself. So we'll get to Christing the anus in a second. And we are going to look right here. He's talking about, so this claim is erroneous. What claim is he talking about? Christing the anus. This claim is erroneous. The passage in question is about phrenitis, multiple treatments. The second treatment uses the word Christos. Nobody says a Christos used as an ointment. Wrong. Christos is an ointment. But this does not involve the anus. Literally, we will use as salves the sleep-inducing pills dissolved in juice of poppy or mandrake. Now this is for sleepiness, right? We're going to get back to the anus in a little while, but let's just look at what mandrake is. Mandrake, this is from U.S., you can see where this is, U.S. Forest Service. Mandrake, powerful narcotic, emetic, sedative, and hallucinogen. And it can be used as a pharmakon also. So what is being used in this mix? We will use salves. We will use Christs, because that's what they are. We will use Christs. So we will use as Christ the sleep-inducing pills to dissolve the Christs into hallucinogenic poppy and mandrake. Doesn't that sound like what HIllman's talking about? Doesn't that sound like that? Just not exactly, but you can see this guy is actually demonstrating that HIllman is correct in broadly speaking here. I mean, I can't be specific because, I'm illiterate. But broadly speaking, consistent with what HIllman. So this guy, in his efforts to take down HIllman, has taken down himself, just like I took down the Gnostic grifter with his own words. So you can see down below here, after this treatment, right, after we Christ our poppy and mandrake beverage and go to sleep, or whatever we do, or get pain-free, right? Isn't that pain-free, I think? So next comes the ass Christing. There is no specific connection between the anus and Christos in the passage. Yes, there is, as you will see. It's really amazing. So I'm going to take this and plop it up on the next page. You can see. So there it is. There's no specific connection for anus and Christos in this passage, right? There it is. Oops, come on, where is it? And I added more down below, and here it comes. So, nothing about Christing the ass. So in the text quoted above, HIllman translates blah, blah, blah. Anal twitching, let's all run. Wrong. So he's telling us that krokos means suppository, not twitching. No problem. Look at this. This is like where this guy roasts himself. Now look what he says. It refers to a strip of wool, because I looked it up in Perseus. Here it is. A piece of wool, okay, and a suppository. So what do? It's a piece of wool that you put medicine on. Well, what kind of medicine are you going to put on it? A Christ. You're not going to drink it. You're going to put salve on there. You're going to Christ your ass with a suppository. That guy doesn't know this. Now look what he even says here. The meaning is straightforward. Finally, this is this philology guy. Finally, we will resort to anal suppositories with a medicine. Right? A medicine in the suppository, like a Christos, a pharmakon, Christa, like Bengay. So can you see, if you don't understand the pharmakon, like this philologist does not, you get trapped. So here am I. All I know is this domain of the lexicon, because it can be studied and analyzed scientifically. And it's so easy to clearly see right now, as you've seen, a nobody taking down a bragging philologist. It's unbelievable. So here's what he asks us. Doesn't krimatos, blah, 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 mean treated with comfort of pure oil? That's what this philologist is saying. So he's saying that krimatos is a pure oil. Now he says, is this Hillman's translation? He's like, nah, Hillman's full of shit according to this guy. HIllman says, treated with the cream of a holy Christ. Well, I'm going to just go with Christ and cream, because we know that a salve cannot be holy. So, cream of Christ. Well, what is a crema? A crema. Well, if we take the word krimatos, you can see right here, krimatos, it comes from krima. We go down to krima, and we see it comes from chrisma. So we click on chrisma, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to plop it up high. There you go. There's, right, you saw it? Chrisma. There it is, chrisma. Now we're going to click on chrisma. What do we get? We get chrisma atos to krio. Back to Christing, bitches. Back to Christing again. Again. Back to Christing again. How does this guy not understand that? What's going on? So let's get back to the Christing for a second. I'm gonna veer from here. I'm gonna come back to this slide in a second to go through the Creo stuff. The Creo, however you say that friggin' word, the Chi. So we're going to click on Creo. Where does it take us? It takes us, you can see, touch surface of body slightly. That is all Creo means. You can be stung by the gadfly. That would be more than slightly, obviously. So we're in Creo, and we go down to the pharmakon. Click on it. We're going to move this over first, bing, and click on the pharmakon, and here we are back to where we started. So we click on Christan. We know what we get. We get Christos because it is the salve. So back here we go. We know that Creo, it is a pharmaca Christa. So yes, he was treated with a Christ, as HIllman said. This guy does not understand the pharmakon of the ancient Greek, even though he's a philologist. And any one of you, even the clowns at Myth Vision could do this if they would get their heads out of their ass and work the work the LSJ properly. So right there you saw how a nobody, you could do it too, how a nobody can school a blowhard philologist and teach him what Christing the ass actually means, and in fact that it is Any one of you, millions of people in America today have Christ at their ass with preparation H. You can too.